Cam, am I overstating that little get-together at the Lodge? I mean, the Teals all went down there. Di Lee was on this morning on Sky saying, well, she was a last-minute invite. You'd have to think, even though there was no discussion of an early election, that is sort of, soft diplomacy, I'd call it. And I think the Teals were quite delighted that they got the invite, to be honest.
Well, there could all be critical, Steve. I mean, we've been crunching the numbers and trying to cut it each way and how these things could fall if we do end up in minority government discussions. Of course, the Prime Minister knows what this is like very well. He was there in 2010 with those protracted negotiations, Julia Gillard ultimately getting over the line with the help of a few independents. The difference is, I suppose, in this case, there could be multiple paths to forming a minority government. And it could be in a situation where the Prime Minister and the opposition leader are genuinely competing with the independents, because we're expecting it to be a fairly large pool of them and maybe even growing the crossbench at the end of the election. And that means that there could be genuine discussions on both sides, and it could come down to a couple, potentially Teals, potentially other independents like a Di Lee, like an Andrew Gee in Calare, like a Bob Katter, like an Andrew Wilkie, who ultimately gets the government over the line or the opposition over the line. There's a lot of unknowns, Steve, particularly if those two major parties end up basically neck and neck. That's when it's going to really be in the trenches of negotiation. So I don't think you are overstating it. Those meetings, the FaceTime with the PM, they all count when it comes down to a decision time if the independents have to make one.
Cos Samaras from Redbridge did some analysis on the seats. His poll out today, or his analysis says, well, he thinks that the Prime Minister is set to lose at least 8 to 10 seats. I think that's underestimating it, to be honest. And 8 to 10 is not nearly enough that Peter Dutton needs. He needs more like, 14, 15 to even get... If he's going to get majority, he needs that. But I get a feeling it's going to be more than 8 or 10. I mean, particularly when you look at that result that we had in Victoria last weekend and late today, it shows a 17% swing against the Labor Party in the seat of Werribee, which was a former federal seat that Julia Gillard held.
Yeah, Layla is that one, or Lawler, I should say. And that's put a number of Labor MPs on notice, Steve, I should say. Sorry, it's been a long day. Steve, in some of those other outer suburban seats in Melbourne, you look at the likes of Hawke and even Gorton, where Brendan O'Connor is retiring, and some of those other seats in that outer suburban ring, 6, 7, 8% margins, a lot of them. But that result in Werribee has really shocked them. I think, Steve, to be honest, it's so close to call right now. It's hard to put a specific number on it, but I do think that, like what Cos Samaras suggests, if Labor is losing between 8 and 10 seats, even if it's a little more, you could see both major parties on that 69 to 70 seat range. You need 76 to form government. So on the coalition's best night, their best night, win a couple of Teal seats, win back some Green seats in Queensland, maybe a few things go better than expected in New South Wales and Victoria, that's when they're knocking on the door of a majority government. Some of the people in the coalition tell me that they think they can get 3 independents, so the likes of Di Lee, Bob Katter, and potentially someone like an Andrew Gee, maybe in a best case scenario, Alika Spender. So 3 at best 4. That means if they can get to 73 or 72 seats, they're in with a shot. Anything less than that, many in the coalition think it might be a bridge too far. But all signs at the moment, Steve, point to a really tricky negotiation period if neither side, neither major party can get much above 71 or 72 seats. That's when things get really tricky.
Cam, just finally, as you sit there tonight, are they still trying to ram legislation through the Senate?
The bells were ringing a short time ago. I think they've actually knocked off, Steve, from what I can see. The slates next to me, which show the Houses of Parliament, are clean. So it appears they might well have knocked off for the day. Everyone's keen to get out of here. They've all got flights to catch. No one wants to be here for a budget. So that might well be it, Steve, between now and election time. That could just be it. That could be done. And, well, we're all waiting now.
Lonely week for you next week, Cam Reddin. Thank you very much, mate. I'll catch up with you shortly. Parliament House emptying out.